Alrighty, I am back. Let's go ahead and continue on with the main scenario quest and head to whatever those new, further beneath ruins are. Though our respite was cut short, I dare say we are all eager to avail ourselves of such knowledge as the ruins may hold. Aye, and I doubt further contemplation of Elizabeth's machinations will be conducted to relaxation. We may as well make for the split hole now. Alright, so the split hole... Well, that's over in Kalusia. Alright, to the southwest we go. All are present. Now we need but await Bismarck's coming. It is time. Pray make ready. Anamnesis Anyder, now accessible. Alrighty. Then in that case, we're gonna go in with the party here. And in terms of who we're going to bring, let's see. So we can't bring Thancred, since he is a tank. And it's a shame we can't bring the Exarch in. Let's bring Alphino, Yshtola, and Alice. And here we go. So it looks like we're starting off against some ads first here. Reminds me of the first dungeon in Stormblood. Nothing too hard that we can't handle. Has a nice jazzy theme to it. Now, my question is this going to be susceptible to the looping environment syndrome? Oh, I think that's a loop right there. I guess this is where we get off. And here we have our first boss, Unknown. Oh, this is a new track. So, was that random, or something else?
Leave the healing to me.
Like we got an ad. Okay, so it is random. Sorta. You gotta be watching. I'm trying to keep an eye on what both are doing at the same time. That's why I'm doing the focus target there, so I can watch what both of them are doing.
Away with you.
Right, there goes one of them. Actually, this might be the same track as the end boss theme. Just a different version of it. A different version of We Fall. Alright, first boss down. This way, I guess. Come to think of it, the music actually reminds me of the music you hear in the first dungeon of the game. Not Shadowbringers, but the first dungeon of Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. We got more incoming. Ah, here they are. might be okay for a second pull.
Gloves are off.
There we go. And let's see what's in the treasure coffer. So that'll be good for any ranged classes, ranged melee. Now what do we have here? Cyclops. Okay.
I will end this farce.
Okay, what is he doing? This reminds me of what was it? Omega 3. Ah, got it. So gotta be on whatever is second. There are the hammers, and there are the swords. I have the Cyclops in the middle. But this time we want to be on the hammers. Oh, I thought I was off. Oh well.
You underestimate me.
Yeah, this reminds me of a different boss from, not Endgame, A Realm Reborn, but, what was it called? Well, I am doing so badly with names today. Aurum Vale, that's what it is. Now, look at what we have here. Well, that's a lot of targets. Let's say, thank you for helping out as well. It's an interesting location to be sure. But the question is, are all these like different data storage devices or something? Let's see if we can take one of these out. Yes, we can. Alright, on to the next room. And that would appear to be the last boss. Is that you, Genbu? Ruxious Jean. Ah, you're the matriarch, or the queen. Okay, so for that one I gotta watch which direction the hands are facing. Alright, that'll be more of them coming through the ground. Or not, since we were all able to stop it.
Leave the healing to me.
Oh, I'm guessing there was a space at the end of that. That one is covering the queen. Okay, we should be safe there.
You will rue the day you crossed my path.
Okay, yeah, there is a hole there. just about have them down. And down they go. Well, that's going to completely throw that colony into disarray. Just looking at what everybody's saying here. Alrighty. So the question is, what is this place? Because some of this looks like aura site.
This structure must have served an important function. And here are yet more crystals.
I too noted the crystal repository on the way. The Benthos seem to employ them in their spellcasting.
In such vessels did the ancients preserve concepts, ideal forms to be drawn upon in the act of creation. That so great an abundance should reside here lendeth credence to Yshtola's conclusion. This facility held great significance.
I just realized, I believe I was actually talking, or saying what they were saying, back during the release, so let me continue that here. Nay, should we continue down this path, our fate will be the same. I said as much to the convocation. Of course, but the stubborn fools turned a deaf ear to my warnings. I had hoped that the defector, at least, would side with us, but I regret to report our overtures have gone unanswered. Whither tend your thoughts, Vinette? Where you lead, we will follow. I shall not speak ill of the convocation. They too seek only to secure the future of our star. It is plain they will not countenance a permanent solution. That being the case, we must ask ourselves a simple question. Are we prepared to pursue our chosen course, even should it mean suffering the eternal condemnation of our brethren? If so, I see no further reason to demur. Let us bring forth the light that shall ever keep the darkness in check.
it was they who first summoned Hydaelyn.
Their discussion did seem to imply as much, yes. I cannot say I have ever heard of this Venar before.
And there's been suspicion that the Warrior of Light, Warrior of Darkness, the character we play, was the defector. So the idea that we took neither side is interesting.
For a certainty, Emmet Selk never uttered the name, speak though he did, of the schism which Zodiark's advent wrought upon mankind. Some were of the viewpoint that his power must needs be restrained, and to that end did they call forth she who would serve as his shackles.
I wonder if Annette was that one Ascian we met in Amarok, and were talking to while we were waiting for those materials.
We now know that it was this Venar to whom they looked for leadership.
And that this place, in all likelihood, served as their headquarters. The presence of such intimate records attests to that.
Just to clarify my thought there, the one that realized that he was a part of a recreation.
I would hear what else they have to tell us. All of it. Did anyone see the source of the image?
Seemed to be the ground. Or that thing.
The device there? Then let us see what other secrets it holds.
Banat, please, why must it be you? If I may speak plainly, I would sooner it were another. Any other. You are our leader. None can take your place. You know as well as I that but few support our cause. Far fewer than they who place their faith in Zodiark. If Hydaelyn is to stand a chance of opposing him, I am the only one who might suffice as her heart. Rest assured, however, I shall not vanish from this world. The form I take shall ever remain my choice. Then I will press you no more. Only know this, you will be sorely missed. I wonder, is this how the convocation felt about Elidibus? Is Elidibus Zodiark? Or rather, Zodiark's heart?
What? Forgive me, but did that not strongly imply that Elidibus sacrificed himself to become Zodiark's heart?
7 hells. Then who or what are we dealing with?
The device appears to activate via a form of ethereal attunement, not unlike an aetherite. Beyond that, I can say little for certain, save that we should take this opportunity to see what other records it contains. No response. Confound it. If I may, milady, the panel did formerly emit a soft yet perceptible glow. That it doth so no longer may betoken the depletion of some essential energy within. Given how long it has lain dormant, I think it fortunate it functioned at all. That may be, but if we can't get it to work again, we'll be leaving with more questions than we've answered. The white-robed emissary hath named himself Elidibus. Yet if the shade spoke true, Elidibus ceased to be ere even the sundering came to pass. This calleth to mind a truth that Emexelk did once reveal in passing, that the names by which we know our foes are not those given to Ascians at birth. Rather, they are titles of office, afforded to individuals of merit at such time as the role become vacant. Perchance that the Elidibus is at Zodiac's heart, and the emissary with whom we are acquainted be not one and the same, but predecessor and successor. It's possible. If the previous Elidibus perished before the final days, the one we know could still be a survivor of the Sundering. And yet, something in that explanation rings false. I will remain for a time. I would not abandon my attempts to revive the device so soon. There is more to learn here, I can feel it. In matters of aetherology, I know of none as capable of thee. If there existeth a means to learn more, thou wilt surely find it. Once thou art thus engaged, we shall attend to matters on the surface. You may now enter Anamnesis Anyder with a party of NPC avatars. To make use of this feature, open the Trust interface located under Duty in the main menu. Alright, Urianger. Can we but uncover Elidibus's true origins, we may yet come to understand his designs. To that end, Ystrola must needs be afforded as much time as she doth require to complete her investigation. To the extent that such things are within our control, yes. Speaking of which, perhaps we might trouble the Exarch for news of his progress with the spirit vessel? He will no doubt wish to hear of our own discoveries as well, such as they are. It's quiet in the Crystarium. Oh, nope, there are people.
Dare I ask what's going on?
Ah, excellent timing. For me, in any case. We have a problem. The vast majority of those gathered here are presently in the employ of the Guard or else one of the facets, and no longer wish to be so. In principle, all are free to change vocation at any time, but a city does require a certain number of people in these positions if it is to continue to function. For the moment, I have asked them to postpone their resignation until such time as replacements can be found. As you may have surmised, we have the Warrior of Light to thank for this.
It's you! The Warrior of Darkness!
That's his plan, to sow the seeds of wanting to be a hero rather than somebody that's just a guard in the background. And the like.
You understand, don't you? Someone's going to have to look after this place once you're gone. We just want to be ready to do our bit when the time comes.
And not only here, but everywhere. Which is why we've got to get out there and lend a hand to those in need. That's what you did, isn't it? Even if it was just little things at the start. You helped people.
People, chocobos, you name it.
And we're trying to do the same. We may have our sky back, but there's no shortage of people who still need help. If we follow in your footsteps, then I choose to believe we too can be heroes one day. Even warriors of light.
What are we to say to that? We can hardly tell them they are mistaken. They seek but to do good, as you have.
But no more can we stand idly by and suffer a paragon's scheme to proceed unchallenged.
An incoming storm? No, that's way too close to the ground.
What's happening to the sky?
That's the opening 1.0 cutscene! Except... here on the first!
Wicked White. Oh no.
Is this going to awaken the Echo and others?
By the 12.
A star shower.
I hear a voice.
Hydaelyn.
You and all.
Or Venat.
Why does it feel like it's inside my head?
Hear, feel, think. I hear it.
They're about to repeat 1.0.
Did I not tell you, my friends? You are warriors of light! You're back! What you hear is the voice of light itself, and it has blessed you with its power. Welcome to the fold!
I'm a warrior of light.
I've been chosen?
Can it be?
Me, a hero?
Ragsup, thank you for the follow.
Wait! The falling stars, were they your doing? And why do you need warriors of light?
What, am I to reveal my plans simply because you asked? Nay, I think not. Though the stars, I acknowledge mine. A convenient illusion apt to awaken what little is left of the power that once resided in your sundered souls. That which you and yours call the echo. And an echo it is, of a symphony, but a fraction of what men in their completeness once possessed. Even those among you who tower over others in the gift have only the faintest trace of it. But though sundered and forgotten through death and mocking rebirth, it has persisted. A whisper of our past, burned into your very ether, along with the sight of our end. Through the rekindling of memory, I have awoken the ability, just as Hydaelyn is wont to do when she has need of new minions.
The Echo hath ever been thought a gift from Hydaelyn, a boon granted solely to her chosen. Yet thou wouldst claim she merely awakeneth the power that men should hearken unto? Her voice. Given the perceived simultaneity of her call and the awakening of her chosen's capacity to hear it, it is only natural that we thus attributed the source of the gift. Yet if, in truth, the echo is a prerequisite for hearing her voice, one might surmise that her call never ceaseth, such that all who awaken to their innate gift might receive of the blessing of light at the self-same instant. In sooth, we bore witness to this but moments ago. At the sight of the star shower, full many in the crowd did speak of hearing a voice in their minds, did they not?
Oh yeah.
Just so. And whenever Hydaelyn has need of new servants, she is quick to pluck comets from the heavens or create illusions of the same.
Why then didst thou conjure this vision, full knowing that thine age-old foe would thus claim those awakened to the gift?
Foe? You must be mistaken. As you see, I am a warrior of light. And together with my comrades in arms, I shall save the world. Just like you.
Which leads us back that you want to create another flood of light. Or rather, another rejoining. The more Elidibus reveals, the less I understand. but that he has made a fine mess of things is plain. He is gone, then? I've managed to persuade a number of our would-be deserters to reconsider, or at least delay their departure, but as many are deaf to my entreaties, young Thaler and Vonard among them, I am sorry to say, they have quit the guard. Nevertheless, I wish them well. Whatever Elidibus's plans for them might be, the pair have only ever had the best of intentions. One can hardly blame them for thinking themselves heroes elect, not after being blessed with the echo, and it's not as if they haven't shown the requisite spirit. I quite agree. Though the impetus for their sudden departure may have been words falsely spoken, the men and women in whose footsteps they would follow are heroes in truth, warriors of light, Ardbert, yourself most of all. And so I would ask a favor of you. Speak with them ere they embark on their journey, and furnish them with what wisdom you can. They've set off for the Amaro launch, but you should still be able to catch them if you leave now. Worth the effort, I'd say. If I recall correctly, Rauban took the time to usher you out into the wider world many moons again. I think that comparison rather flatters Thaler and Vonard, but the point still stands. They would doubtless be greatly encouraged were the Warrior of Darkness himself to see them off. If thou art willing, I prithee go. Thou mayest safely leave the task of unfolding that which did transpire at Anamnesis to us. Alright, so we need to make our way over to the Amaro launch, which we can get to by crystal here, or aetherite rather. Here we go. You again. I mean, it's you, sir. Sorry, it's been a funny old day. You can be sure we'll take those words to heart. I still can't believe it. You coming all this way just to speak to us. I swear we won't let you down. So long as it helps someone, we'll do what needs doing out there, no matter how small. And when larger threats loom, we'll be ready to face them. You see if we aren't. Well, what are you waiting for? Get out there! We'll be off then. Farewell, Warrior of Darkness, and thank you. Alright, we need to speak to the Crystal Ekart. So let's make a little hop here. Wait, seriously? We can't? Okay. Aetherite then. Looks like he went back inside. Thank you for making the effort. I'm certain your words will be a boon to them. While you were away, the others told me of your investigation. We have yet to discuss how to proceed, however. While your findings in Anamnesis Anyder do raise important questions as to the identity of our adversary, we are no closer to discerning his design. Nor do I know of any other potential avenue of investigation. For which reason we must needs trust to Ystrola's ingenuity, and wait for her efforts to revive the Ancient's device to bear fruit. What if I were to attempt to follow the emissary? Elusive as he is, his plan compels him to court public attention. He shouldn't be impossible to find. Especially for one of your experience. It does seem worth the attempt. Then I'll come with you. Safety in numbers. In combat, perhaps, but where stealth is required, the opposite is true. Happily, I don't plan on getting myself caught, so you no need to worry. Alright, then I look forward to your return. And it sounds like the rest of us should avoid doing anything which might prompt Elidibus to look too closely at our movements. Insofar as it's possible, I recommend we limit our activities to the Crystarium. Speaking of which, XIV, might I ask if you've made any progress with the spirit vessel? Of course. We are presently studying the principles underpinning memory transference and, I believe, nearing the requisite level of understanding. Less hearteningly, practical trials of transference methods suited for use with the vessel have yet to yield satisfactory results, to put it mildly. But there are still many promising possibilities we have yet to test. Indeed, though it may take some time yet, we are well on our way to a solution. And I shall not rest until one is found. Though we are all grateful for thine unstinting efforts, thou needst not labor to the exclusion of all else. If it would serve to lighten thy burden, however little, I should gladly offer mine assistance. Quite. I, for my part, will do what I can to ensure that the Crystarium continues to run smoothly, in spite of recent disruptions. Then perhaps I could help. There must be something I can do, even if it's just guard duty. Thank you, all of you. I shall breathe easier for your assistance. Of course, on the evidence of the recent past, it will not be long before some new crisis arrives to throw our plans into disarray, at which time your services will be in particular demand. That being the case, perhaps you might take this opportunity to retire to your suite at the Pendants? I was gonna say maybe check in on the source. See how that new Ultima weapon is doing. But okay. A pleasure as always, Master Brightstar. I am relieved to see you were unharmed in the earlier commotion. Though, if I may, you do look somewhat weary. I presume you will be retiring to your suite? Very good. Do let me know if there's anything you require. A new eating quest is now available from Yalfort in Mortsuk. Now who could that be? Master Brightstar, it's Glynard, from the Wandering Stairs. I apologize for calling so late. A friend of yours was asking after you. You may remember them from that business with the Cardinal Virtues. Oh, which one will I choose? I've completed 2 of them, but I didn't complete the other 2. That's healer, that's tank. Branson. Well met, sinner. I was looking forward to a welcome respite here in the Crystarium, but the mood here's not exactly conducive to relaxation, as I'm sure you've noticed. Aye, I'd wager you know more about what's going on than anyone else in this city. Care to share? I can't say that I envy you your prey. Dark works. This twisting of the Warriors of Light's legacy reminds me of what became of old Daikaiosine, though this Ascian of yours is a fair bit more chatty. I'm tempted to silence him myself. Brandon made his mistakes. I'm sure they all did. The past is the past. They've earned their rest. I'm not about to let him sully Arbert's good name. What, you want me to leave it to you? Right. I'm not the only one carrying all that weight. Very well, but only because you asked. Remember, if you ever need me, just say the word. I'll be there. Meanwhile, in the Crystal Tower's umbilicus.
Foiled again. If I cannot imbue the infernal thing with my power via magical means, we may need to devise a way to infuse the vessel with my blood after all.
Art thou unwell?
Or perhaps a brief respite. It wouldn't do to overtax yourself.
I'm fine. And given to stubbornness, I'm afraid. Especially when I have a stake in the outcome.
So the question is this actually Xenos or not? Because, as far as we're aware, he never made it to the first. Just a dream.
Dream again.
Meanwhile, in the source.
A recurring dream. They do so fascinate me. Might I trouble you for the details?
I have always dreamed of it. Fire falling from the heavens, and the city, nay, the whole world ablaze.
Indeed. Could Emmett Selk have found a way? Precious few possess memories of the final days.
The final days.
Why, yes. Admittedly, my knowledge is mostly second-hand, but if you are interested, I will gladly tell you the tale. The tale of the world's end.
Alrighty, so that brings us apparently to the end of the main scenario. But I do believe there was a couple of things left. Let's see. Minstraling Wander, I believe that's actually from the prior patch, and I just never picked that up. Let's make our way over to Mord Sook. And it does indeed look like there is another quest here. Somewhere around here. There it is. Good news. Or at least it has the potential to be good news. I've received word from Master Urianger. Unfortunately, the message was rather thin on details. He only requested that you return to the Crystarium and meet him at the Wandering Stairs. Not the most likely of places for important meetings, but I suppose you might be able to squeeze in a pint or two while you're there. Alright, back to the Crystarium we go then. Interesting that y'all fort or somebody else couldn't have been right outside the pillars. Let's see. So, the markets. Pray accept mine apologies for calling thee hither at such short notice. The matter I wish to discuss is of considerable import. If it's that urgent, wouldn't it be quicker to use those link pearls things Breen's been telling me about? These are words best delivered in person. Did something happen to the empty? Not that doth warrant our immediate attention. The elements are in a state of equilibrium, and the propagation of flora continues apace. So what is this about then? As thou art aware, we are not of this world, hailing from what is referred to as the Source. However, unlike Prince, Thancred and I exist only as ether given corporeal form. Our bodies remaineth on the Source, though the thread that binds us to them doth grow weaker with the passage of time. And if you stay here too long, you might never be able to return. Precisely. Now, with the wheels of change in the empty set in motion, we believe this is a fitting juncture to take our leave. We shall but regret not being present to see the transformation reach its completion. That hardly seems worth losing your bodies over, though. If you have to go back to your own world, who are we to stop you? I always knew this day would come. You'll still have Gaia and Prince. I know that you'll see this through to the end. Together. We will. I may not be half the woman Minfilia was, but I have friends I can turn to. They might be brutally honest in their opinion at times. Or prefer to save their words and let their actions do the talking, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Just promise you won't transform into a crazy ice lady and try to kill me again. Though I can't say what the future might bring. No doubt Ryne and Gaia will need your support in the days to come. Alas, the mysteries surrounding the fairy are yet to be resolved. Whether thou shalt find the answers that thou seekest or nay, lend not thine ears to its honeyed words, for thy will is thine own. Never forget this. I won't. The time of our departure is at hand. Yet know that, no matter where we may be, ever shall we pray for your success. With Urianger and Thancred set to leave the first, it seems wise to share this development with Yalfort, who will continue to oversee expeditions into the Empty. Very interesting. So, okay, so then maybe the main scenario isn't finished just quite yet, but they need to kind of clear things up with kind of the strings that were left with this raid series. Now I wonder what would have happened if I had completed the main scenario before doing the raid. You're back sooner than expected. Is everything all right? You're leading. Oh dear, that's rather unfortunate. I dare say it's something jolly important for them to leave in such a hurry. In any case, I wish them the best of luck, wherever their work may take them. I shall remain here and hold the fort, as it were, and make the necessary provisions should any further forays into the Empty be required. Safe travels, Master Prince. Alright. So now... That's interesting. So no further main scenario popped up, though. You know what? Let me bring up... Where is it? There is... No, it's under character configuration. There is a thing... Yeah, it actually says to be continued, so I'm kind of surprised. Alright. So then, I guess... let's make our way back to the source? Or are there other things that need to be wrapped up? Let me check the map. I don't see anything there. I'm just going by what happened in the trailer, for this patch. We shouldn't be done yet. There's several events that still need to play out here. One in particular involving Sid. So I'm actually really surprised about what's going on here, that the main scenario is done. Let's see, Tataru, Doesn't appear to have anything. Let me go ahead and use this orchestrion roll. What about over in Alamigo, then? Okay, so there is this over here. Ruby Doomsday. So maybe that's where the Ruby Weapon Trial is then. And maybe all the other events are going to play through with that. Ah, Prince, glad you could make it. As you may have heard, Commander Alden has given orders to embark from Alliance headquarters to hold back the advance of the Empire's latest menace. Not that the soldiers stationed there are too chuffed about being on the front line against these new weapons. If they're designed to slay primals, they'd make short work of us mere mortals as well. Mind you, it's Gaius Balsar and his followers who have led the charge so far. By all accounts, they've been giving as good as they get. Unfortunately, their sorties have met with little success. I dare say they'd benefit greatly from your presence on the battlefield. If you're ready, my colleague over at Porta Praetoria will show you the way. Now that's all the way over here, so we'll just go ahead and teleport again. Heading to headquarters, I take it? So your mind is set? Then I shall apprise you of the situation. We have discovered that the previously abandoned Ultima weapon project is being helmed by the reformed 7th Legion. They have already succeeded in producing several prototypes, one of which is set to be deployed on the Eorzean front. Its name, the Ruby Weapon. Severa and I were able to get within striking distance during one of its test runs, and made an attempt to destroy it. An attempt that ended in failure, alas. Based on our knowledge of the original Ultima weapon, the explosive we employed should have been sufficient to blast through its armor plating, but they barely left a mark. We suspect the gifts of its predecessor may have proven the source of its resilience. As you well know, the Ultima weapon was designed to absorb ether from icons, and the Ruby weapon no doubt shares that ability. If any were summoned during the uprisings in Garlemald's occupied territories, and thereafter consumed, our enemy would become all the more formidable. But its near impenetrable armor was only the beginning of our troubles. It fought back with whip-like claws that can be extended and contracted at will. In the face of such opposition, we were forced to withdraw. Gaius was injured, shielding me from the Ruby weapon's assault. Even now, he struggles to stand. Damn it all. If I hadn't been so careless, this wouldn't have happened. You need not concern yourself. Let us not forget that I am the one who initiated the Ultima Weapon project. If I must give my life to bury this shameful legacy, then so be it. If you were to face it as you are now, you'd be cut down before you even hobbled within firing distance. In any case, we can't afford to lose the information in your head on both the foe we face and the Empire itself. We all know that We all know that's asking for Prince's assistance. Presents our best chances of stopping the War Machina. True. 'Tis true that if anyone were capable of putting down such a monstrosity, it would be him. Though I have no right to ask this of you, will you lend us your strength? I'm not one to back down from a fight. Have my thanks. And mine, though I must impress upon you the urgency of our situation. We have received word that the Empire is preparing to advance on the Gimlet Dark. That is where we will intercept them. If our fears are proven correct, the ruby weapon will be among their hosts. Should it break through our line, there is no telling the devastation it will wreak. Make no mistake, the very survival of Eorzea hangs in the balance. Once you have steeled yourself for the battle ahead, your escort will lead the way. What price must the world pay for my hubris? Several hours ago, in the Garlean-occupied commencing ruby weapon activation sequence. All units stand by. Initiating synthetic Aurosite system. Fusion successful. No signs of incompatibility. Awaiting your signal. Ruby weapon. Code name Darnus. Ready for launch. Alright, let us get this started here. Hydaelyn has briefed me on our mission. I am to take you as far as our expected point of contact with the ruby weapon. Once we arrive, the rest is up to you, I'm afraid. Cinder Drift, now accessible. Alrighty, let us go ahead and queue up for that then. Looks like we have a short wait for this. Yeah, I am really not sure what to make of this situation. The trailer itself showed basically people warping back in from the first, so I'm really confused as to why we're sort of stuck as we are right now. I mean, there was no announcement that there were multiple parts to this patch. At least as far as I'm aware. Anyway, ruby weapon time. Let's have some roast beef. And 15 seconds to get this going. I thought we could just watch the ground there. Oh, wait. Ah, I get it. So you need to be on the cracked ground there. Interesting pattern for that. Time to start helping the healer. Oh, okay, got it. Okay, now stand on the cracked ground. Or not. I guess we gotta wait for the liquefaction. If that even happens. Oh, let's get out of the way. Alright, I think I understand everything that's going on now. Except the healers are gone. There's nothing we can really do here. I think we have a better idea of what's going on here. Alright, here comes liquefaction. That's a ruby ray. This seems like a safe spot. Oh, nope. And healers are down. Oh, wow, one of them came back up. Okay. Let's support them as much as we can. I think at least we've reached the loop point where things are not really changing much anymore. So as long as we can hold from here, I think we'll be okay. Yep, it looks like we got almost everybody back up now. Alright, here comes the limit break. Looks like that's it. Well, that's quite the reveal. Nice, we reached the checkpoint. Garlemald is reborn? Okay, so that explains Dalamud at least. Can I get some heals, please? I guess not. Alrighty, so looks like we hit the Enrage on that one. So at least everybody's seen how this all works. Alright, let's give this another try then. This time, no false starts. Let's see if my shield will hold this long. If I can get 2 in, that'd be great. Looks like it. Much better this time. Alrighty. Let's see. Actually, I think I want to save that because I think I'm on the next of the last one that I need, I want to save that for an EXP gain. Even from afar, your figure was unmistakable. As ever, an impressive display. Though, as I am sure you will concur, the ultimate weapon pales in comparison to this new monstrosity. If their research is allowed to continue, the next model will be nigh on unstoppable. With that in mind, the Alliance has enlisted the help of... Wait, I hear something. Here to sift through what remains of the ruby weapon, are you? Allie, what do you think you're doing? Allie? Father? It has been too long, Alphonse. And you too, Rex. Given that the Empire is proceeding with the weapon project and making inroads into Eorzea, I suppose it was only a matter of time until our paths cross. It's wonderful to see you again, Father, although I can't say I think much of the company you've been keeping. I know a lot's happened, but I'm just glad that you're all right. And now, you can come back to Garlemald with us. My days of serving the Empire are over. Because you're suspected of assassinating Emperor Varus? But we know you'd never do a thing like that. There must be a way to prove your innocence. And everything can go back to the way it was. Yeah, they're not his blood children, that's for certain. Probably adopted or something. So he found you two shivering on the roadside when he was going through Wurlet? Lucky for you, eh? If he hadn't, we'd probably be dead by now. As for us three, our parents all died in an epidemic. We'd still be begging on street corners if it weren't for him. I just wish there was a way we could repay Lord Gaius for all the kindness he's shown us. He fights for the Empire, so we should too. That'll make him proud of us. You're saying we should join the army? I don't think that's a good idea. Everyone in Rurlit was scared of the Garleans. Why would we want to be like them? Lord Gaius is different. I know he is. You're right. He always says that the strong should lead the weak. Maybe that's why he took us in. Alright, if becoming a soldier is what it takes, I'll do it. Who's with me? Count me in, and maybe one day people will look up to us like we do Lord Gaius. Then it's settled. From now on, we're all brothers and sisters fighting for the same cause. Brothers and sisters? Then that would make Lord Gaius our father? Well, if he doesn't mind us calling him that, I suppose so. And that makes you our big brother, since you're the oldest. You'd better be nice to us, or I'm telling Father. Haha. Father, since you went away, a lot has changed in the Empire. For us, too. If we'd known that you were still out there, still alive, none of this would have happened. What do you mean? The truth is... one of them just sacrificed themselves to be in the ruby weapon, didn't they? If you must go, I will not stop you. But answer me this. Who was piloting the ruby weapon? We all know that Nael van Darnus has not returned from the dead. Who do you think? It was... Melisandre. No. No, I refuse to believe that. Refuse to believe you would let that happen. She was a sister to you. To all of you. We only want to finish what you started. And while we will never forget all you have done for us, the next time we meet, it shall be as enemies. Goodbye, Father. As for you, hero of Eorzea, you'll pay for what you did to Melisandre, I swear it. Cid, there you are! Well, well, Gaius van Baelsar, we meet again. Come to see how your precious weapon project has been proceeding in your absence, has you? You're come to collect data on the ruby weapon, correct? Pilot Melisandre should still be inside the cockpit. I will ask Hydaelyn to escort you to the wreckage. Any idea who this Melisandre is? An imperial crony of his, perhaps? An adopted daughter. One of the orphans. Gaius always did have an eye for talent and a mind to nurture it. In fact, Livius/Junius was another protege of his. He even took me under his wing when my father became obsessed with the Meteor Project. Strange that I felt closer to Gaius than my own flesh and blood. Then my father and countless others lost their lives in the Bazja incident. Although he was acting under Emperor Solus's orders, he masterminded the whole thing. I begged him to reconsider, to put an end to this madness, but my words fell on deaf ears. That's when I turned to Gaius for support, but he wasn't as much a pawn as of the Emperor as my father, and refused to intervene. And when my turn came to serve, I defected and fled to Eorzea. I blamed Gaius as much as any of them, perhaps even more, for the barbaric acts carried out in the name of conquest. But when we met at the Praetorium, all the hatred that had been festering inside me seemed to fade away, and I remembered the man I once respected. I think the dreaded Black Wolf was a mere plaything of the Ascians, who left him broken and disgraced, having sent thousands of his men to early graves. It's more than most could bear. And now the lives of the children he raised hang in the balance. Any personal grievances I have with Gaius can wait. I'd best gather what information I can on the ruby weapon, but I'll be back as soon as possible. Alright everyone, before we proceed here, I do want to take another quick 3 to 5 minute break here, and then once we are done, we will then proceed with the rest of this quest line, and then there's one more quest line we need to take a look at here today, so please stand by. Alrighty everyone, we are back. Let's continue on with this quest here. Let's speak to Gaius. If Sid is as I remember him, it will not take long for him to finish investigating the remains of the ruby weapon. He never was one to waste time. My engineers are still in the field, but there's something I thought you should know right away. It's about the pilot. I'm not sure how to tell you this, but if Melisandre is dead, I only hope she was not made to suffer. Death would have been a kindness. In all my years, I've never seen such a perversion of science and nature. Her body was fused with the ruby weapon's core. Those last moments must have been spent in pure agony as her very life's essence was drained from her. So, she was sacrificed to power that infernal machine. We must act quickly if we are to prevent the Empire from committing further atrocities. Prince, is there any other information you can share with us regarding the ruby weapon prior to its deactivation? Nail Van Darnus? Did the Legatus mean that much to Melisandre? From what I gathered, it sounds as if data based on Nail's combat capabilities was used to override the pilot's consciousness after she was fused with the core. If this technology is perfected and the Empire begins implanting the memories of renowned warriors such as the White Raven into its soldiers, the Alliance won't stand a chance. Is such a thing even possible? A similar method of transference was used on the prototype Estinian fought, was it not? Your friend did mention he overheard the Signiferi loading various sets of data into the test model during the battle. It would appear that the system has been improved since then. While it may bear some similarities, we won't know for certain until we've analyzed the wreckage of the ruby weapon. It cannot be denied that combining data from an experienced soldier with the powers of an icon has yielded remarkable results, but in doing so, the Empire has sunk to the very depths of depravity. This is beyond forgiveness. For once, I agree with you. Yet one question remains unanswered. How were they able to obtain data on someone who was supposedly killed prior to the calamity? That is what I'm trying to determine. There's one possibility I'd like to explore, but I'll need to carry out a more thorough investigation first. Severa will provide support while you are in the field. Not only is she extremely well versed in the latest in Garlean technology, there are a few soldiers I would rather have watching my back. In the meantime, Hydaelyn and I will follow the ruby weapon's tracks back to its point of origin. We will learn what we can of the weapon project and the manner in which Alphonse and the others are involved. Should we uncover anything of value, we will relay it to the troops stationed here. For now, I suggest you use this lull in Garlean activity to recuperate. Would I be correct in guessing that this belated reunion with those darling orphans of yours has stirred up memories of your time in Garlemald? Remember our agreement, Gaius. You so much as think of returning to your Imperial masters, I will kill you. Okay, so we are back here in Pretoria. And looks like the quest completion is actually over here. So, you put down the ruby weapon. Gods, I wish I could have seen it. Not from too close mind. I suppose I should report news of your victory to the higher-ups. I realize you must have been through quite the ordeal. But could you give me a quick summary of the battle? You make it sound so easy. From the way you tell it, anyone would think you slay hulking brutes like that for a living. I'll put all this into a report and leave a copy over there, should you fancy a bit of light reading. Anyway, I expect you've got more pressing matters to take care of, like going for a celebratory pint. If the Garleans pluck up the courage to come knocking again, we'll let you know. Until then, rest up. Meanwhile, in the Whirlit Magitech installation. We should have told him the truth. He'd be able to help us. I know he would. That's exactly the problem, Allie. If he knew the true nature of the weapon project, he'd find some way to interfere. We've come too far to back down now. I won't let Melisandre's death be in vain. Even if that means going against Father's wishes? Cheer up, Alphonse. We can all go back to being one big happy family after we've dealt with those pesky Eorzeans. It'll be just like old times. If only it were that simple. There's no guarantee any of us will make it back alive. Excuse me, I think you're forgetting whose turn it is next. Oh, ye of little faith. With me at the helm of the Sapphire weapon, it'll be over before you know it. Whatever happens, Rex, promise you'll come back to us. I couldn't bear to lose you, too. have to say, that was a most exhilarating battle. I never dreamed that I would have the chance to see such a ferocious war machina with my own eyes. You might find it odd that a citizen of Eorzea would be so excited by something sent by the Garleans to slaughter us in our thousands, but as an avid follower of all things gigantic and mechanical, I just can't help myself. Oh, to be able to pilot such a majestic creation. Perhaps I should defect to the Empire and offer my services. Ever since the time of the original Ultima weapon, I have fallen in love with this fusion of Allagan and Garlean design. It takes my breath away. So much so that I use my spare moments at the Ironworks to develop a line of miniatures. And now, your recently vanquished foe shall be the inspiration for my next endeavor. Would you do me the honor of casting your gaze across the piece once it's complete? Don't blame me if I smash it to smithereens. Did you say something? Whatever it was, I'm sure you were offering heartfelt words of encouragement. It's the support of fans such as yourself that make this such a worthwhile hobby. I'm proud to say my work adorns the homes of many like-minded Machina lovers. The Ultima Weapon and Magitech Reaper miniatures, name but two of my creations, are especially popular. Of course, I wouldn't be much of an engineer if I only made inanimate ornaments. Behold, I have restored this Allagan relic, added a few flourishes of my own, and dubbed it the real virtuality combat simulation experiencer. By feeding it various pieces of data, such as images of my replicas and so on, it is able to recreate a range of combat scenarios. For research purposes, of course, not entertainment, oh no. I can see you're practically champing at the bit to give it a try. There's no stopping you intrepid adventurer types. It won't be long until my latest work is complete. All that remains are one or two final adjustments, so don't go anywhere. Of late, all I can think of is weapons, weapons, weapons. I channel this passion into crafting homages of my favorite war machina, which is more than a mere hobby. It is the wind in my sails. Let's see the ruby weapon. Ruby weapon, a fine choice. Please allow me a moment to prepare. Feast your eyes on the likeness of the Crimson Conqueror, the Vermilion Villain, the Scarlet Scoundrel, the one and only ruby weapon. As I am sure you remember, its most prominent characteristics were its impregnable armor plating, adroitly depicted here, and its long, flexible claws, which are, well, you'll just have to imagine those for now. The head and arched neck are somewhat reminiscent of a ravenous void set, which may be the result of having absorbed a primal, possibly even one summoned by those resisting the Empire. In that sense, it could even be considered an ally of sorts. Ah, there I go, getting carried away as usual. I can tell you've absorbed about as much information as you can handle for now, so why don't we fire up the real virtuality combat simulation experiencer. You best brace yourself, because even I don't know what's going to happen. Alright, so that gives access to the Cinder Drift Extreme. I'm not looking to do that right now. Totems earned in the Sorrows of Werlit can be exchanged for gear and other items by speaking with Sintana in Revenant's Toll. Alrighty. So there was one other quest line that I wanted to check out here. And that is going to take us back over to Kalusia, of all places. Specifically up here to the north. You might remember these two from the last patch. Apparently there's a little bit of story happening between when the next part of the 24-man raid comes out, so... Lolly, what a conveniently timed entrance, ho. I was just thinking that I ought to send someone to check on Anog and Kanak. They're still poking and prodding at those whatsits you dug up in the ruins. Which is all well and good until one of them sets off another explosion. Oh, I'm sure you'll notice if they blow anything important. If they blow up anything important. By which point, it'll be too late. Not to mention that our annual carnival is fast approaching. There's plenty that wants doing before we're ready, and I need those two to start pulling their weight. While you're looking in on them, remind them that they've got duties outside of tinkering with rusty thingamabobs, will you? Maybe they'll listen if it's you doing the nagging. They seem to respect you, much as they respect anyone. Must be all the violence. You'll find them in the tunnels, of course. Can't lure them out of there for the love nor money. And believe me, I've tried. Alright, so that's gonna take us back down here to the entrance. Let's enter the tunnels. Ah, there you are. Can you believe this? I waited through days of processing, broke multiple tools, and after all that... stupid son of a hob-swiveling. Anog, not everyone is privy to your inner thoughts. Allow me to explain. The pod confirmed that this device grants the user access to some sort of weaponry, which presumably means that it is indeed the key of which 2P spoke of. Unfortunately, no sooner had we gotten it working than it stopped again. Based on our previous experiences, we assume that it's run out of power, and we will require a supplementary energy source. Let's hurry up and find one. The sooner we get the key working, the sooner we can pulverize our enemies. Now wait just a moment. We aren't even certain what sort of weaponry is involved here. Even if we get the key working again, we shouldn't activate it willy-nilly. Honestly, Kanog, this ceaseless whining of yours is why we never make any progress. It's not whining, it's being ethical and prudent. Shall the victor be the first to draw blood, or the last man standing? Why not both? What were we talking about? Ah, yes, why I'm right. I agree that we still know too little about the machine life forms and androids, but that's precisely why we need to seize this opportunity. If we claim the weaponry for ourselves, we'll know exactly what the enemy's capabilities are. Then, and only then, can we protect the village from comparable technology. Fine, I see your point. We'll be safer in the long run if we activate the weaponry sooner rather than later, or everyone else will. I'll probably have dropped dead from trying to keep up with you. You say that, but you're far too stubborn to die. That's why I can always count on you. You too, most loyal and lethal assistant. Come along, we have a power source to find. Alright, so we are headed back to Kamra now. It's about time. I've been considering what we need in order to power the key. A hefty chunk of crystal from a knocker ought to do it, though I haven't quite worked out how we'll divert its energy for our purposes. Panog and I will think on that while you head over to the Hollows and liberate that crystal. Find us when you're back in Kamra. Alright, we are headed up to the north then. Inside the cave, it looks like. Here we are. And there's the chunk of knocker. Let's make our way out of here. Alright, here we are. Aha! You got one, right? Perfect, now we can run some tests. Yes, it'll take a bit of experimentation to get the key powered up. It is science, you know. Don't you worry, though. We'll have this thing in working order before you know it. While you wait, why not take some time for yourself? Have a nap, try some of our local delicacies. Tell the chief to go bugger himself. Anog, Kanog! Ah, and here's Prince. I knew you had roped him into your schemes again. They're good schemes, and anyway, you're the one who keeps sending him to check on us. I wouldn't have to if you do the work you were assigned. The Carnival won't wait for your pet projects. Fine, fine. Come on, Kanog, let's get this over with. Frustrating as they are, you have to admire their enthusiasm for tinkering. If they can put even a tenth of that energy towards the carnival, we'll be ready in no time. I hope you'll be able to attend. You won't have seen the like before, I assure you. Not to mention that we're eager to show our appreciation for your helping us with those machines. And there's no better way to do it than with a dwarven toast to your health or two. Doesn't? Oh, so I guess that's it then for that. Okay. Alright, so... Yeah, so at this point, I just want to make sure there's nothing else inside here that I'm missing, because that was really, really quick, to be honest. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like it. No, thank you. I don't need anything murdered at the moment. Or did you want something? Here for me, are you? Can't say I'm surprised. I'm devastatingly clever, after all. The key. I know you're impatient to see results. I am too, believe me. And I know there is a way to revive the blasted thing with the knocker crystal you brought us. We just haven't found it yet. I've tried wiring, and whacking, and all sorts of nudging the two at each other just to see how they react. Nothing. But we'll get there, trust me. There's nothing Kanog and I can't do. And when we get our hands on that weaponry, we'll be glad you got on our good sides early. Alright, so yeah, looks like there's nothing else. Okay. So, one more place I want to check. Partly because there's something about the trailer that's just... It just feels off that we haven't seen it yet, and it's that scene of where Sid is inside the factory, and then suddenly everybody else teleports in. From seemingly the first. I mean, that's kind of a key thing to put in a trailer and not have it actually show up in the patch. So let me also check here. I'm gonna reach out to my over to my FC and see if they know where this thing is as well. Hopefully there's some sort of answer here on this, because I'm really at a loss as to where that is, and I don't want to end this prematurely if I can help it. put your faith in the Exarch and do try to visit now and again. He's so fond of you all. I mean, there is the Minstrelling Wanderer, but I think that's from a previous patch, like I said. But I mean, we could take a quick walk over there just in case. Ah, that could be it. Yeah, the relic. Okay. And let's just see. Yeah, this is from the prior patch. This is the more difficult version of Hades. Let me chat with them for just a moment. Okay. So, yeah, then it's possible that this content may actually not be in this particular patch. Especially given how much story content there was in Eureka, and that is something that I never did finish up. I don't know if I ever will. Given that this channel is going to be more focused on PSO2 and the rest of Phantasy Star going forward, at least for now, given the imminent release of Phantasy Star Online 2 in North America. But, you know, I still want to come back to Final Fantasy XIV every now and then, at least to keep up with the story as it's happening. And that's really how things are going to be on this channel for the time being. More Phantasy Star focused than anything else. So, yeah, especially because, you know, I'm relatively unknown here on Twitch for Final Fantasy XIV. If anything, I'm more known for it over back on YouTube, and my plan is to eventually get this posted over there. But once again, Phantasy Star is going to have priority for the time being in terms of the upload order before doing this. So, at this point, then, I think, given that, given that information has come out here, I am going to go ahead and close things out for today here, in the expectation that the whole Cid thing will appear during the Relic thing, and yeah, we'll just have to see how things play out from here. We haven't seen this scene anywhere. It is very significant in the content that is in it, given who else shows up next to Cid, and I highly recommend that you watch the trailer again if you did not see who those people were, because that is like, yeah, that's big. That's like, that belongs in the MSQ. if anything. So, I mean, it's possible this could be the first time that Square Enix also does like a second part of the of the story as part of a mini patch. They typically hold those in reserve for the end of expansion patches, but this could be the first time that they actually do it in the middle of an expansion. So we'll have to see how all this plays out. Still a lot of unknowns. I hope at some point we do actually see that scene, because it's really significant what that is. And yeah, so with that, if you've enjoyed today's content, please do make sure to keep in mind that there is that follow button if you do want to keep up with the channel. As I mentioned before, I typically do host Phantasy Star based content, particularly Phantasy Star Online 2. In addition, I do also have a Discord in the description below. And with that, thank you for joining me today. This is PrinceBrightstar signing off. I'll catch you next time.